Yeah, but I've been working a lot on like just creating music, developing, my genre, the creation of my own genre.
Because you are trying to fuse Brazilian funk and reggaeton.
Yes.
And you're going to call it Funkton.
I've grown up watching my parents work really hard, just to be able to support us. Nice. I speak my mind a lot, and that sometimes can get taken as rude or maybe a bit aggressive. Yeah, music was always around me, and my mom was always a lover of music, especially the days that she was at home and she was cleaning, music was always on. Like what you were saying, I was only able to write when there was stuff going on. At
that time, you say you didn't have the right identity for music. What is your identity now? Martins. Ladies and gentlemen, as always, on the Korak Podcast, we bring you wonderful, special, amazing guests. And today I'm bringing you wonderful, amazing queen all the way from the great, great land of Portugal. A Portuguese queen via Ilford, East London. And of course, she has been on shows like Britain's Got Talent, The Voice. She has her own radio show. She is in and not in the Latino market, even because she says she's not Latino. But, ladies and gentlemen, I give you the one, the only, the Portuguese queen, Ana Santos.
Hey!
How are you, girl? You good?
I'm good. I'm excited to be here.
Thank you. This has been a long time coming. We've been trying to get you on for a long time. You've been ignoring us. Well, we've got you finally. We have got you finally. But before we start, of course, people, BK Creative and Production.
We're in the house.
And Korak is still not sponsored by anybody, but we have a queen here, so hopefully all her subjects and all the other endorsements that, sponsor you will probably sponsor us. Put in a good word, yeah. Put in a good word. So, you enjoying summer?
Yeah.
What have you been up to?
Oh, do you know what? I think this summer's been a bit more quiet in terms of shows. I've still done quite a lot of shows this year, but I've been working a lot on just creating music, developing, my genre, the creation of my own genre.
Oh yeah, we'll get into that because you are trying to fuse Brazilian funk and reggaeton.
Yes.
And you're going to call it Funkton.
Well, I wouldn't say I'm trying. I said I'm already doing it.
Oh, you're already doing it. Okay. I mean, she's already doing it. I like it. But before we go into your life and what's happening and the things you're going to do, we usually start this podcast in a very simple way. So Korak is, footsteps, and it shows or identifies the journeys, the ups, the downs that you've been through. And it's that destination established by that first step. Where does that first step begin with you?
Oh, in music.
Music, life, and everything.
Well, when it comes to music, I would say, I think being born, that's the first footstep.
Oh, it was natural. It came out popping off mommy's stomach. And,
Even me, obviously, I think over the years I've grown and developed my personality, my character, but I think you were born being you, and it's just a matter of time before. Okay,
so you're born being you. Let's go back to you being you when you were born. So you were born and raised in Portugal.
Yeah.
So how was that like in terms of, because clearly music to you is a calling. It has been in you, as you say, since you were born. But if you take us back to the Portuguese times, in Portugal, how was life as a kid?
Interesting. So I have two siblings, a sister and a brother. They're both older than me. Yeah,
okay.
They're both older than
baby.
me. Yeah.
Oh,
we're all
baby things.
I'm 5 years apart from my sister, and then my sister's 5 years apart from my brother.
So your parents had sex 3 times, pretty much in 15 years. I'm asking around at least we're sure of 3 times.
I mean, yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
I guess.
Okay.
I don't know much about all of that. I don't want to know actually.
All right.
But so I've got 2 siblings, older than me. So my life kind of revolved around. So I grew up with my parents always having businesses, but coffee shop businesses. They had other businesses before, but when I was born, that's what they were doing at the time. My brother was a football player, so he took that very, very seriously.
Okay.
And then my sister, she was into music at first. She did that for a minute, then she kind of went into sports, then went into something else. But essentially, I used to spend my days at the beach, with like my parents' friends. They would take me because my parents would be working, or with my sister or with my brother and their friends, because again my parents would always like be working. So my parents, I've like grown up watching my parents work really hard, you know, just to be able to like support us. So yeah, specifically like my mom.
So with your parents working so hard, and she said to support you, they've always had businesses. You were hanging out on the beach. Your brother was taking care of you. Your brother was a footballer. Did he? What level did he get to? Or
I would say he
did he play for any of the Portuguese teams?
He tried for some, yeah. He definitely played for he definitely played for a team at the time. I don't remember exactly which one it is or what level it is more specifically, but he was very like heavily involved in football. That was kind of his thing. Then obviously he moved here, which is then part of the reason why I moved here with the rest of my family. So he kind of like left that to the side, but essentially, yeah, I just kind of grew up always with like older people. And I think that's also influenced like the way that I am now.
I mean, I always say with the last, I'm a last child like you, so and I think it's a very good position to be because you tend to see, you know, all the things ahead of you, and you get to learn and filter what you want, what you don't want. So you pretty much see all the mistakes that have been made before you, and hopefully you don't make them. But I'm sure you made a whole lot of mistakes.
Yeah, I think we all do.
Nah, I don't know about me, but you did. You
I mean, now we all make mistakes. I think it's part of life. If you don't make mistakes, you can't grow and learn.
So before we talk about your mistakes, which you will talk about, but for as far back as you remember, how did music come into the you know, your life? Because you were being taken care of. You were like the princess. You were the one that everybody was, you know, buying stuff for, spoiling. I'm talking from experience, man. I was that kid. I loved being that kid.
Really? I think...
Don't grow up, people. Growing up is a crime.
I don't know. I feel like by the time my parents had me, they were so busy. They were like, we're going to leave you to your siblings. You guys sort each other out. You know what I mean? And then, yeah, that was just kind of the thing. But it wasn't bad. I loved growing up with my siblings, you know? Like, it made us kind of close in that sense.
So how did music come in?
So music kind of just came in. I think obviously I grew up always because my parents had coffee shops and stuff. Like my brother's friends would always go there, so it was always very like friendly, family friendly type of stuff. So there was always like music. They did like nights in Portugal. Things are open, like coffee shops are open till like sometimes 10, 11 p.m, 1, 2, because it goes from like, you know, being the morning type of vibe to then the evening vibe. That's how it is out there, innit? Like here, it's more like, oh, it's a coffee shop, so it opens at 7 in the morning, closes at 3 p.m, whatever. But
yes, because the council will probably just come and tax your life out.
Basically, if you're opening for open, and need to get licenses to be open for that long, it's all long. But over there, that's how it is. Like most businesses tend to operate like longer hours, and so yeah, music was always around me, and like my mom was always a lover of music. Like especially the days that she was at home and she was like cleaning. Music was always on, like she would be singing her lungs out. And obviously my sister, she was doing music as well for a minute. She studied in like private music school for a year. She got given like a bursary from like the government to go and study there. She done like quite a few things, like she sang for the president at the time.
Oh, hello.
Yeah, it was nice, but she didn't, and she's really good actually. Like she's got an amazing voice. She can play like cello, piano, all this stuff. Like she's actually technically, academically more smart than me in music. But yeah, she just decided not to take that route. So I think that's kind of where it came. It's always been around me, and then her doing that, I guess it kind of sparked some interest in me, and then it just from there, I just don't ever remember music like not being a thing. So and I always.
If we go back to when you do remember,
yeah,
how did it start for you? When did you realize that you could have a talent here and something that you want to actually see out as a career?
So that was when I moved. That was after I moved here already, actually.
So you moved to England as a teenager, right?
I moved here when I was 10.
Oh, okay, just
2012.
And you said your brother came down. So then, so when you say your family followed, so what, daddy, mommy, everybody came down? Yeah,
so my brother moved here originally because of his girlfriend at the time.
Okay.
She was a nurse and she got offered a job here.
Love does a lot of great
love does a lot of crazy things, man.
A lot of people move countries.
No, do you know what? I'm glad they did, because like now, you know, they've had a child. My nephew's about like 8 now. So nice. Yeah, it's just, you know, if not for that, then he probably wouldn't exist. So everything happens for a reason. But
it does.
Yeah, so they moved here, and then I think literally 6-7 months later, we moved. Me, my mom, my sister. Then my dad came 2 months later.
So what happened to all the coffee shops? I know. Did they sell them?
Yeah.
They did. And then when they moved here, so how was that move as far back as you remember? Culture shock. Did you speak English at the time?
No.
Not at all.
Maybe hello. That was about it.
So when you moved, where did you guys move to? What part of London you moved to?
I moved to Leighton.
Leighton. Oh, East London. Yes, that's the place to be.
Yeah.
The place to be. So everybody moved there. So how was that? If you're remembering it now, how was that memory?
That memory was crazy. I moved here in January. No, I moved here in November. And I didn't start school until I think like February.
Okay.
So the move was like, I think that period of time was so crazy because I was just at home with like nothing to do in a foreign country. And obviously my parents were just like busy trying to figure out like, how they're going to get a job to kind of like, get the household going.
To settle and make sure everybody's
yeah,
all good.
yeah. So it was just me and my sister. We literally, and this is crazy because no one knows this, but we used to like and I'm getting so real here because I feel like it's important for people to know like what I've had to experience. Not that like, not to say that it's been so bad because I feel like there's always worse out there, it could always be worse. But we literally used to all sleep like in the same room at the time.
Okay.
So me, my mom, my dad and my sister. So we had like a bunk bed and then like a double bed. And my brother and his girlfriend slept in another room. And yeah, we just kind of slowly like started, I guess, figuring things out, or they did. And
would you say, did your parents sell their business for a good price at the time? Or was it rushed in the sense that, we need to move? So
I think it was quite rushed, yeah, to be fair. I think, yeah, once they decided to move, they kind of just did whatever they could to kind of get things going. Because, I mean, economy in Portugal has always been, like, really bad.
Yeah, it's always been up, down, very touristy based.
And also, I think, our government is quite corrupted. So then that doesn't help. Like,
don't worry, I'm Nigerian. You're talking to the right person.
It depends how you see it. But, I mean, I think a lot of places in the world are corrupted. So...
yeah, things happen.
It's an ongoing thing if we're going to get into that,
No. We'll save that for another podcast. Let's talk about. So you couldn't speak English. You were in there. Then all of a sudden you went to school. You've already talked about the dynamic in terms of how the family was coping. But then with time, how did you learn English, making friends, and then how did music come back into the scene?
Yeah, so I think I just kept singing throughout. Like I remember being in year 6, year 7, year 6, I did a talent show. At the end of year 6, you have a talent show. Mm-hmm. I sang Titanium by David Guetta and SIA or Sia. Okay. Is it Sia? I think that's who it's by. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I sang that song and I remember like at the time I couldn't reach certain notes and everyone laughed at me.
Did that inspire you or put you down a bit?
At the time it put me down. But I never stopped singing. I just kept doing it in my own time and I kept doing it. And I think when I was about 15, I wrote my first song and it was a rap song.
How did you go from that David Guetta to singing and then went into rap? I
know. Do you know, I think it was around the time there was these challenges going crazy on social media. It was like, I don't know, I can't remember the name of them, but it was like rap challenges and like everyone was doing it and it just sounded so good. I was like, let me try it. I sing, let me see if I can write something to this, do my own little like version. So then I guess that's how I started writing music actually.
So the music you were listening to at the time and what you were singing most of the time, were they English songs, were they Portuguese songs, were they both?
Do you know what? I remember living in Portugal and trying to sing Adele songs, even though I didn't speak a word of English. Like
that thing is actually quite baffling when you see. So you watch a lot of events and you see people that can't speak the language. I mean, it's the same thing with other, like me trying to sing a Spanish song, for example.
Yeah.
If you're ever in the club and Despacito comes on, and you look at everybody, even those that can't speak Spanish,
everyone's lips are moving.
They're like trying to. Is that the same? So did you understand what you were singing with the Adele songs?
Oh no, I had no idea what I was singing. I just knew it sounded good.
It just sounded good.
Yeah, it sounded like emotion.
Do you remember the rap that you wrote at 15? Don't pretend. It's okay.
I actually don't.
What do you mean you don't?
I don't.
So you don't remember? What
I recorded it on an iPod.
On an iPod.
Yeah.
Okay. So it's somewhere.
Long gone.
Long gone. So. What did I tell you at that point? What I told you at that point is so you can rap.
I can write music.
You can write music.
This is the beginning of
What would you rate the rap then? If you would you say it was good? Was it crap?
I would probably say it was like a 3 out of 10.
3 out of 10. Oh, that's not a bad
Yeah.
start for your first rap.
Yeah.
Not a bad start. So what would you rate your rapping now?
Well, I don't really rap. Well, I mean, I guess some might classify it as rapping, but I don't like to classify myself as a rapper.
What do I mean, you're not a rapper, but you rap.
I can rap, yeah. I would say now it's probably like an 8.
Oh, okay. Well,
Yeah.
that's not bad. That's a big jump from 3 to 8. But before we get to what you are now and your brand of music, so you wrote your first rap at 15. You loved singing. People laughing at your David Guetta song didn't put you down. So what then happened from there? When did it occur to you that what was the light bulb moment that you know what I'm going to do this?
So when I was about 16, it came to like the end of secondary school, and I was like, okay, it's time to pick what you want to do. And I was like, well, what I actually want to do is music. So let me go with that. Like, because in secondary school, I never did GCSE music. And I wasn't heavily involved in like music stuff. But I was like, you know what? Let me just go with it. So I guess that's kind of what I really started to like learn a lot or more about music and like developing my skills as an artist. I ended up going to a place called BCA. It's called Big Creative Academy. It's like music academy college, and you go there, you obviously do your whatever. So I studied there for about a year. I actually didn't finish it till the end.
Why?
Because my at the time I was just things were just really crazy. And
for example, you were being a teenager, and from the way you're describing things being crazy, so you were one of them naughty teenagers.
No. I don't think I was.
You don't think so, or you were?
No, I don't think I was that. I wasn't crazy. I think I've always been quite like.
Okay, let's remove the crazy
responsible.
Part. Naughty?
No.
Okay, so how were you before we go? How were you? So between that, you got here at 10, and then started learning language, picking up music. How were you apart from music? How were you as the growing up phase?
To be fair, I think when I was younger, some of my teachers in secondary school were like, you know, everyone loved me. I think I'm someone who is easily like
lovable.
Yeah,
Okay.
I would say, but I'm also very like honest, and you can read like if I'm not happy about something, you can
So
see
you
it in my
speak
face.
your
I
mind.
speak my mind a lot, and that sometimes can get taken as like rude or maybe a bit like aggressive, or like some people might some of my teachers used to say you've got a bit of anger inside of you need to get rid of.
Do you think you
I think at the time I did, yeah.
What was making you angry?
A lot of stuff happened growing up, like family related. Like my parents got divorced, so that was a big change.
Sorry to hear that.
Yeah. And then just some other stuff, and then just life as well. Like, you know, you meet people, friendships, like, you know, gone wrong.
Are you talking about friendship between you and your normal friends, or you and boys?
Oh,
girls, depending
I
on what you're
think,
into?
yeah, in general. I mean, platonic friendships and also, like, I guess romantic friendships, but mainly, like,
You were breaking
platonic
hearts
at the time. You know, it's so funny. I feel like I have broken some hearts in my life. Breaking?
It's all right.
It's the foreign coming out.
Yeah.
None of us are English.
No,
it's all good.
English is not our first language. We'll take
So
it.
yeah, broken some hearts in my lifetime, but I also feel like I've been, I wouldn't necessarily say heartbroken, but definitely disappointed a couple times too.
My good God. So
It's
you're
been like
so you're the heartbreaker then.
No, I feel like it's been
You just said your heart hasn't been broken, but you've been disappointed
my heart has been broken once.
once.
Yeah.
You see, I felt that one time. I felt that.
She said, "You got me once, but
Just
never
once,
again."
But never again.
No,
It's my
man.
life. You see, you heard that Ayastar song, my last heartbreak song. Man.
Yeah.
You live and you learn.
You live and you learn. So what? You're not. Was it a mistake you made and something you're not going to repeat again? Or
I think you just sometimes it's easy to get carried away.
so you were being carried away.
And yeah, when
In what
you're,
way? Were you
I think I was lacking some wisdom as well at the time.
So you had your heart on your sleeve. You like this guy.
Yeah, you give people the benefit of the doubt, or you see the best in people.
So what did you see in this guy that is now that your eyes are clear that you realize that you shouldn't have? What was the mistake you made?
There was I saw more potential in them than they saw in themselves.
Yeah, well, that's usually the case when you like somebody.
It was
right?
a mix of things as well. I think we had different views on what we wanted
How-
our
how old were
lives
you
to
at the
look
time?
like. How old was I? This was actually,
Oh, so this is recent.
yeah, it was recent.
Oh, hello.
Yeah.
Let the streets hold that Ana Santos is now.
Recent, I mean,
so
beginning of this year.
So you're now on the market.
Mm,
Mm.
no,
So you're not in the market.
no,
Oh, okay.
no.
So there's somebody.
I'm not saying it's somebody. I'm just saying
You're not in the
that's not
market.
what I'm really focusing on right now.
So which you mean you're not in the market?
No,
Okay.
but not because I'm with somebody, you know.
Just because you're not interested.
Yeah,
Sticking to your career. and
yeah.
stuff. I get it.
I'm doing a lot of stuff right now, but we'll get to that.
We will.
You'll
We will.
understand why I have no time.
All right, cool.
Yeah.
Okay, so you were told you had some anger issues at the time, and life was lifing, things were going through, breaking hearts and all that good stuff. So you didn't finish the college because certain things were happening. So what then happened after that?
So-
what was the next step?
Started working full time.
Okay, what did you get into?
I started working in an organic coffee shop.
Oh,
In
took after
Essex.
Took after the parents.
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah.
Well, no, I went and worked in a restaurant where it was very interesting. My mom then got sick. She was in the hospital for a while. Then there was a one-time thing where I wasn't able to come into my shift because my mom had just been discharged from hospital like the day before, and they're supposed to, like when you have a surgery, they have to change, and you get discharged from hospital, they have to change your what do you call it? Your bandages?
Yeah.
Yeah. So the nurse will come to your house from the local hospital GP and do it for you because, a professional has to do it.
Yeah.
But they obviously discharge you because they can't keep you there. So they didn't come to my house, and I think it needed to be changed every single day. Otherwise, there is a possibility that it's going to grow an infection and it's deadly. Like the place that it would have been deadly. So I didn't go into work so I could take my mom to hospital, and they fired me because of that. Yeah, so then a few months later, I ended up getting into this coffee shop job in Essex, and I was there for about 3 years, something like this.
At the time, what were you blending work and all the situation that was happening? Where was music when all this was happening?
So music was kind of was very much on the back burner at the time. I wasn't doing a lot. I was still kind of connected to a youth club at the time. They were doing some music related stuff, trying to support young people.
Okay.
I think it was called XPL or something like this. They were based in Stratford or something at the time. I just knew someone that worked for them that had met me in another youth group prior to this. And then they got me in whatever. So I was still trying to be involved. I was just trying to do what I can to just stay involved as much as I could. But sometimes it's just, can get a bit in the way of whatever, things can get in the way. And then I would say a year into me working at this place, a girl started to work there. My friend Ebru, I'm still friends with her to this day. Her and her husband are literally the reason why I released my first 2 songs.
Oh, shout out to
Shout out to the Turkish Man.
They're Turkish.
Oh, yeah,
Shout
they
out
are
to
Turkish. The
man
gang
them.
them.
The gang them. Okay, so how did they inspire you to get back into music?
So her husband is also an artist. He has chosen not to pursue music, even though he's very, very good. He could have definitely been well off doing music, but he just doesn't. Being famous to him is not attractive, or he doesn't want to be that. So he just decided not to do it. But he has a lot of experience and a lot of knowledge, and he helped me. So they helped me record my first 2 songs.
So with music being on the back burner, and then you met them, and then you guys started being friends, and how did it start coming back to the forefront? Were they inspiring you because they were musicians themselves, or did you how did it all of a sudden unfold?
So I think this always happens to me. So I'm always singing everywhere I go. So I was working with her and I was singing and she's like, oh, you have a nice voice. And I'm like, yeah, I sing actually. And then that's kind of how it all just unfolded. She was like, oh, you sing? I'm like, yeah. And then she's like, oh, my husband, he makes music too. So she starts showing me because he's got music out there. And then that's kind of how it all happened. Then like she started really pushing me to like make videos and put stuff on social media. And then I got to a point where I was actually very consistent. I was posting videos every single week. And that's actually how like I've been able to grow my page to what it is now.
So at the time, what would you say was your sound? Because me and BK were having a conversation in terms of artists and identifying what their sounds are and, you know, putting stuff out there. Because a lot of people, when they go into the music, they don't particularly know. They can sing, they can do stuff, but they don't know what is their sound. What would you say is your sound that you, I mean, apart from the genre you're creating or have created, what would you say was your sound at the time? What kind of music were you into?
So, yeah, I started off really singing ballads and very like emotional music. So that's very much like the foundation of what I started to sing. But then it kind of went on, you know, I think Portuguese music or Portugal is quite like open. So we listen in the sense that like, I mean, I don't know if open is the right word, but we're quite like inclusive, or we have a lot of like the music we consume on a daily, or the music that plays in the radio is not just like originated from Portugal. There's a lot of like Afro fusions.
Right.
Like we listen to a lot of
a
like
lot of elements that
reggaeton, like even Latin American music. Like we listen to that a lot. Like you go on a night out in Portugal, you're guaranteed you're going to listen to like Spanish music, like Portuguese music. You're going to have your, you know, UK, maybe American here and there, but it's very like, it's a mix of a lot of things.
I've never been to Portugal, so maybe when I want to go, you write down a few spots.
Yeah, for sure.
If you're there, you know, being a star and stuff, you know, red carpet, I can see it.
VIP.
VIP. Me and Blessing, man, we'll be there,
Always,
going
always.
around, dancing around.
Yeah.
So your
So
sound
then, yeah,
was.
I think it was that, but then obviously because we, as a country, we listen to a lot of different things. I think that's where I started to develop it. But the first song I released was R&B, like R&B soul.
Was it? So what was this about? Was this about somebody? What was the context of the music at the time?
So the song was about a relationship that has ended and it being bittersweet due to the fact that, like, you know, no, I'm better off without you, but it's still bittersweet because we had some good times.
Was this like this was based on a true story?
Yeah.
It always intrigues me what inspires people.
All my music is real.
Oh, so everything you release is about real stuff.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you're gonna write a song about this podcast?
I mean, if it's that inspiring by the end of it, maybe.
You saying you're not inspired now?
What?
I'm inspired, but I mean, you know, I need to, as in.
Let's see how you buy yourself out of this one.
Yeah, facts.
Like what? Yeah.
Keep going,
I mean,
keep
how
going.
can I? What am I supposed to say? I went to Korak Podcast.
Yeah.
It's a good
And I
start.
had
It's a good start. There you go.
Keep going, keep going.
I don't know what I had.
Keep going, keep
I mean, we've got the melody, we just need the words.
Yeah.
You see, you're halfway there. You're halfway there.
Exactly.
He put me on the spot. I don't freestyle.
Okay, good to know.
See, now you're inspired to
See,
freestyle.
now you're inspired to freestyle. But do you find? I mean, you just dive, you know, go off a tangent a bit. Do you find that? Would you say, if you have 10 women that are all artists, would you say a good number, probably over 5, usually gets inspired in terms of music through relationships and love?
Yeah.
Really? So you agree it's probably after over 5, 6?
I mean, every female artist I know has at least one romantic related song, I would say.
So we need to
Whether,
we
actually,
need to give shout outs to ex-boyfriends because they seem to inspire a lot of good stuff.
yeah.
What about do you write music when everything is going well though? Must something go wrong before do you get into good songs when something is wonderful? So like you talked about your first song, there was bittersweet moments. Even if it's over, we still had some good times, right? At the time when things were good, how come there wasn't any song that came out at that time?
To be honest, I think with releasing music, I don't have a lot of music out. And I think it's because it can be such a hard thing to do as an independent artist.
I mean, it's hard for you because, as you just said, everything you bring out is real. So it's based on an experience. So that means you're kind of relying on experience to give you an inspiration to release a song.
Yes. I mean, I think I've gotten better at that. I think now I'm able to like, because I think before, like what you were saying, I was only able to write when there was stuff going on. Whereas now I'm able to like, okay, bring myself back to certain moments and situations and write about it, even if, it's been however long. But yeah, it's interesting actually. I think when things are good,
Because people never write stuff when things are good. It's which I tend to, at least some people do. But if you look at like Adele and stuff, I mean, her albums, wonderful music, but it's sad music
yeah,
because it's talking about breakup, it's talking about this, and a good number of female artists, as you say, if they're drawing an experience from themselves, is heartbreaks. It just occurs to me that at some point nobody talks about the love of their life and how things are wonderful. And
yeah.
all that. So it's interesting. But if we come back to you in terms of your music, so your first R&B was released. You were happy. Shout out again to the Turkish Man there.
Yes.
And everything was going well. So was that the conviction that you needed to go, this is it?
I was like, you know what? I've done it once. I can do it again.
And then what was
I
the
need
next
to
song?
just keep going. So the next song was called Flow.
Good Flow.
Flow.
Oh.
Just flow.
Just Flow. Okay.
Flow.
Flow. And what was that about?
Letting life flow.
In what way?
So that song, the lyrics literally go, you've got to let it flow, even when you feel like you don't know, don't worry, time will show.
I like it. So dropping some good words and stuff. So one of the things you're big in we're talking off camera, and you're giving me an education of how you're not Latino
Yes.
because you're not ethnically from a South American country.
Yes.
But you're big in the Latin community in terms of performances, music, and all that good stuff.
I'd say I'm quite involved, yeah.
All good. So you don't particularly cast yourself as Latino?
No,
Okay. So you just cast yourself as Portuguese?
I'm Portuguese. And some people also Hispanic, technically. Well,
Okay.
yeah, no. Yeah.
So but in terms of one of the reason I'm asking that is because a lot of Hispanic, Portuguese, Latino, the community is one of usually this first step, the foundation that propels you and propels your music. And and you being who you are today, how is that community helping you to propel? Because I've seen you on some, do some moves and things. Ana Santos things, on the stage. So how's that community helped you and pushed and raised you to where you are today?
Do you know what? It's so funny. Some people ask me, if you're not Latin American, like, how did you get into making Latin American music or Latin American influenced music? And I'm like, well, actually, it's funny. So, if you look at my catalogue of music, as we were just speaking about, like, it started off being R&B. Then Flow was like a bit of a fusion of like R&B, Afro swing, soul. And then the song I released after that was like the beginning of the creation of that genre. And I think the reason why I got into it is because one day I just came to this realization, like, you know what, I never tried to go into this like Latin American music industry or like
I mean, other than Portuguese, do you speak Spanish or any other language?
other than Portuguese and Spanish. No,
Actually,
just
other than Portuguese, do you speak Spanish or?
I can speak Spanish, yeah.
Okay.
I mean, yeah, I can speak Spanish. I understand everything. I can speak it, but people speak to me in Spanish and I reply back in English.
Okay.
Yeah, if I had to speak Spanish, like I could, but my accent, I'm gonna sound like a gringo, which basically means like, I don't know if you know what that means, but gringo,
Well, watch
yeah.
enough movies, don't worry.
So yeah, I'm gonna sound like that. I don't want to sound like that.
So you decided to go into Latin influenced music because it's like a journey for you. You've gone from R&B.
So it came to a realization that I was like, okay, I didn't put myself in these places, in these events. I've been put there, type of thing. So this is where life has taken me. This must mean something.
Okay.
So that's the realization I had. I just sat down one day, and this was last year when I was in Portugal, and I had some like time away, and I had a long time to think, and it was really good because I came to a lot of realizations, and this being one of them, that I was like, you know what, like, then I got nominated for an award and stuff like that. And then these were just all these little things that were just happening. And I was like,
What award did you get nominated for?
best Latin American artist in the UK. I'm not
Boom.
even Latin American.
Hey,
Like, do you know what I'm saying? I was just like,
What award was this? Who know?
LA United.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
So what? This is after you release what song?
Want Me.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, you did say your songs are real. Want Me? Who's wanting you? Or who did you want?
No, it was about someone wanting me. Yeah. Yeah. It wasn't towards anyone in specific. It was just,
This
yeah.
person is not a stalker or anything. Just
No, not a stalker. No, just there's
I have
you
no
can just
idea.
feel the energy.
the energy.
Yeah.
So were you saying if you want me to do something about it, or
I was like, I know you want me. I can feel it, baby. This love you've been needing. And then I change it up into Portuguese. I'm like, I'm basically in Portuguese. The chorus it goes like, "Come read this colorful book," basically.
and the colorful book obviously. Is
Yeah.
I like it. So, but you said your stuff is real. So obviously there was somebody that was wanting you. Did
It
he
wasn't
get the
like.
message? That's what I'm trying to find out here.
I mean, if the hood fits, the hood fits. You know what I mean?
I
I
have
think
no
a lot
idea.
of people. I mean, I don't know. I can't even want to sit here and be like, a lot of people want me, but
Some do.
I mean, yeah. If I wasn't me, I'll probably want me to. You know?
Hey, hey, I like it. I like it.
Yeah. Do you know what I mean? Like, yeah.
I don't. Well,
I'm not better than anyone,
yeah,
but you have to believe in your own source.
Yes. Drip that sauce, man.
What you bring into the world, you know. If you don't, who will?
What? So I mean, so you would say you're fully been accepted into Latin community. It's a good community and things are flowing. And even if you're not technically Latin, but you said you had a lot of realizations. One of the realizations that you had was, the Latin. What other realizations did you have?
So last year I took a bit of a break from music. Because off camera we spoke about me having a job that was just taking a lot of my time, taking over my life, taking over my health. And yeah, just that job, like that specific job just brought a lot of like stress into my life, to the point where like it was like detrimental to like my health and stuff like that. So then yeah, and I was very busy with music as well. Like I was doing a lot of shows last year. I was getting up to things. I was rehearsing. Like, so I would work like 10, 11, 13 hours and then go rehearse for like 2 hours, wake up the next day at like 5 a.m, not get home until 1 a.m, and just on and on and on and on like this every single day. And I think it just got to a point where I was just very burned out. Like, yeah, I was just...
So it was that was like a moment of resetting and making sure that you were putting priorities in place and making sure everything was all good.
So I just needed to take a break, and then that's why I went away to Portugal. And so one of the realizations that I had was, before I got to Portugal, was that like, okay, life is too short for me to be killing myself, to be working for somebody else. Like if I just invested half this time into my music, then maybe I would have, gotten further already. Mm-hmm. So then I think going to Portugal at the time was just like an easy escape type of thing,
I take it you're still not doing that job now, anyways.
No.
Okay.
No.
I mean, on part of your profile, you have actually performed in Britain's Got Talent, The Voice.
I've auditioned for these things. Yeah.
Still a
Taken part.
performance,
Yeah.
So how was those auditions? And let's start with BGT.
So I went to those when I was like really young.
Mm-hmm.
And I think at the time, like I had a different vision for what I wanted as an artist.
Okay. What was the vision at the time?
The vision was I want to do music, but I didn't know what I wanted to do in music.
You hadn't found the source.
No. So I was like, oh, let me try this, let me try that. And then I ended up like not going through, obviously, because, whatever. But
What stage did you get to? Is it like the early auditioning stage?
Early audition, yeah. I think I was just young and I lacked confidence and amongst other things. And like, I ended up just noticing that by going to these things, I was like trying to fit into something that was not me.
And this is for BGT and The Voice?
The Voice, I went to like, there was a Little Mix, the band, whatever. So, yeah, like that's why I stopped going to those things because I was like really
you
and
do realize
truly.
people have no idea what whatever means.
Sorry, it was Little Mix, the band Search, something like this. So like Little Mix were doing a show where they're like searching for the next best band, 2 girls, 2 guys.
And you auditioned.
I did.
How did that go?
Interesting.
In what
My
way?
mom was sitting in the corner recording the whole thing. At the end, they were like, "Oh, you're not even allowed to record."
So what? She had to delete it.
Basically, yeah, but she didn't delete it. I'm actually sure that was probably one of the reasons why I didn't go through. Like, because it was like confidential. Like, I don't know. It just like
You'd already
probably
like,
rubbed them the
"Oh,
wrong way.
This one has already broken the code.
Yeah, do you know what I mean? It just what a bad look.
So do you? At that time, you say you didn't have like the right identity for music. What is your identity now?
So the thing for me is to just be me and experiment without like being concerned about like what other people are going to think.
You're still in, so you would say you're still in the experimenting phase.
In the sense that like I think we're learning and experiencing new things every single day.
So far, what have you experienced that you're sure is going to be part of the identity?
So this genre I'm doing,
Funkton.
yeah. The original one of the original reasons why I wanted to do this is because I wanted my music to be uplifting. So I didn't want to do like the heartbreak, the sad music stuff. I feel like that was me and that's no longer me. Now I'm focused on living and carrying like a positive life and like speaking positive things into like the world. And
Yeah, but a sad song could be a lesson for somebody. Doesn't mean that it's going to be particularly sad. So you could be talking about a situation that happened, heartbreak, but doesn't mean you're talking about an experience. So somebody can learn from it. So in terms of uplift, I mean, the sad song doesn't have to actually bring people down. But you want, so Funkton, which is the fusion of Brazilian funk and reggaeton.
yeah.
What is Brazilian funk? Yeah, I mean, actually, until I read your bio in terms of Brazilian funk, what kind of music would you class as Brazilian funk?
So funk is like not just one. Funk, it can be a lot of things. Like this is the thing. Funk can be sad. Funk can be happy. Funk can be like angry. Funk can be like excited. You have a lot of different types of Brazilian funk, especially depending like what part of Brazil you're from. It fluctuates.
Okay.
So you can have like funk music that's a bit more. It's a bit slower than your usual like funk track. Then you can have obviously the more like up tempo. To be honest, it's funny you asked me this question because I feel like as someone who is creating this genre, I have to go out there and like research about this and learn more about it because I want to be able to be more aware of like what I'm doing and where it all started and all the different types of Brazilian funk. I'm kind of getting into that most recently, actually.
I mean, your new song, Me Cante.
Me Encanto.
Oh, Me Cante. It's
Yeah.
very vibey, you know?
This is the thing, because I feel like if you meet me, or if everyone who knows me knows I'm quite like energetic. I have a lot of
I know. I've seen you in a party before.
Yeah, so
I saw
I'm
you
like
on the dance floor. You were ripping it.
so like yeah, I
Left,
have
right,
like
and center. You were boom, boom,
I'm
pow,
usually
boom,
always
boom.
smiling. I'm quite
Loads
like
of energy.
I'm quite like outgoing, and I feel like that was another thing. I'm like that's me. So why am I making sad music?
Well, but then, I mean, you're human. I mean, you did say your music is real. So you're going through, I'm sure you must have gone through some sad times. But how did the idea come to you, though, in terms of the Brazilian funk and reggaeton? Apart from uplifting, did you say, okay, I want to make uplifting music, so I need to bring two very uplifting genres of music and put together? How did the idea come to you?
Okay, so I'm like, even before I was like involved in the Latin American like music scene here in the UK, in the UK, I was like a strong listener already of that genre and also Brazilian funk, and it's always been something that's like really, I don't know, there's certain genres that get to me more than others, and especially Brazilian funk, it's in Portuguese. So I understand it, I feel it, you know, like not to say I don't feel English music or whatever, or music that I don't understand, but it's different when you can understand word by word and relate to it fully. With Spanish music or Latin American music or reggaeton more specifically, it's usually always in Spanish, which I can understand also. So it's just, and I think it's the two genres that kind of like remind me of home as well, because we listen to it back home as well. I don't know. It's just something about like Spanish speaking music in itself, and then I think the rhythms of like Brazilian funk, and just the fact that, you know, we are obviously, like you were saying earlier, we colonized their country. But
I
you
didn't
know,
say that, people. I'm just.
I would say that over the years, I hope that we have come to more peaceful like waters. I hope. I think we have. You know, I feel like as a whole, we have learned to like embrace each other and appreciate each other for what we bring to each other's like cultures.
So, in terms of with your music identity now, and you wanting to grow and become the artist that you are, and you're creating your own genre, what is so not to put you in a box? You know, some people will say, "Oh, I'm a R&B, this. I'm a that." Who is Ana Santos, and what kind of musician is she?
So I'm a Funkton artist.
That's it.
I make music in Portuguese, in English, and potentially Spanish, maybe, to come soon.
So you would describe yourself as a Funkton artist.
Yeah.
In terms of when it comes to how would that affect you in terms of collaborations with other artists and other genres? Like, would you do a collaboration with an Afrobeat artist, or with how would that moving forward? How do you see it working?
Yeah, 100% actually. It's something I was a tad bit concerned about before. I was like, how am I going to be able to, you know, merge it all? But it was something I wanted to do. And I'm actually working on something right now with a hip hop artist. It's a female. She's a rapper and she's a singer, but she predominantly raps, and she's a hip hop artist. We have created a funk reggaeton song where we have kind of like been able to merge.
This is an exclusive, right? This is first time anybody's hearing it.
Yeah, and
You heard it live, people, on Korak Podcast exclusive. She has created. Who's the hip hop artist?
Her name is Teach.
Teach, preach, girl.
Yeah.
Teach, preach. I like it. Okay, so when is that coming out?
There's not a release date yet. We're still like in the works. But
when do you think it'll come out? This year? Don't tease me, girl.
You know, summer's gonna be over soon, so
And we still need uplifting. It's especially winter that we need uplifting music. Especially not particularly having a steady summer.
maybe late summer. If not, definitely like next year spring. Yeah.
Next year spring. Don't make us wait that long. Teach, you guys do something quick. Do something quick, man. We can't
Don't worry, I have some other stuff coming. So.
So with your process and how things have gone through life and all that, what would you say? What's been the most difficult period in terms of your music career?
Oh, I think it's as much as it's what I want to do and I love doing it and I'm so grateful that I get to do it. I think every day is a new battle.
In what way?
In every way, like in general in life, like every day we wake up and we're like, you know, another day that we're just working to get what we want, you know, attracting what we want, manifesting what we want. So not to say that it's a fight, but yeah, I don't know. I'd say I can't think of like a specific time in my life where music felt really, really hard. I think me in general, when things are hard, I'm like, I understand why things might be hard, and I'm just finding ways to fix it. You know, that's my way of dealing with stuff, is not to focus on what is bad, but to focus on how I can make it better.
So what have been certain distractions that have kind of held stuff back?
Oh, I think financially. That's probably the main thing for me in music.
So break that down for a bit for us, for people that don't understand. So obviously to go to the studio, like even film content these days, to film like good quality content, like you need to at least have some sort of like budget, whether that be for like what you're wearing or,
you know, where you're doing it, what camera you're using, or who's taking the footage for you. So all these things like creating content, going to the studio, getting music videos done, even just as simple as like putting your song on a platform, that costs money. You can't just, you know, I mean, unless you just do it on YouTube, but then it's like your song's not going to be available on like all the other streaming like platforms that there is. Like beat making, like engineering of the track once you've like made the song. I mean, I write my own music, but there's people who don't, so they might have to pay a songwriter. There's just a lot that goes into it. Yeah, there's a lot that goes into it. And then also like when you have shows, you need to rehearse. Where are you going to rehearse? You know, you need to make sure it's because it's cool rehearsing at home, but depending on what type of show you're doing, it's really crucial to rehearse like with some sort of PA system, so you know what your voice is going to sound like, especially if it's like a first time you're going to rehearse a song or something. You know, there's all these little things that could just go into it. Or if you need dancers for a show, like, you know,
So when you had dancers on the show that's on Instagram, did you have to pay them?
Do you know what? I'm super, super grateful. So big up Double J once again, because they actually, they actually did that for free. I just paid like their travel. I knew one of them, so they just came, they danced, and they did it for free, and they're really good. And one of them's like literally now taken off. She's doing like big, big stuff.
So one of the things, as a Funkton artist, and considering the fact there's a new genre, and it has elements of Portuguese, Spanish, do you think you alienate a lot of your listeners? Are you happy to understand that you might initially have a section of certain listeners, and are you happy to understand that it's one of those kind of music that's not going to be for everybody?
Definitely. I've actually noticed that like the people, certain listeners that were, or I had certain listeners or a certain amount of listeners when I was doing like R&B, Afro, swing compared to now. Or I still have listeners, but they're not the same people, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Like I know that there was people who would listen to that type of stuff who were not going to listen to this type of stuff now. So in that sense, I've had to like almost start again. But I'm okay with that because I feel like the music I'm making now is way more inclusive than before anyway. Like before I was just making music in English. It was a one genre thing. It was very much like, it was almost like there was no difference from what was already out there, you know? Whereas now I'm doing my own thing. It's very much me as a being because I'm so like, you know, mixed in with these cultures and, you know, environments that it's only right I put it into our music. So then it's like I know that it might be a thing where like at first not everyone might be on it, but I think at some point it'll be a thing where it's going to take over, just how like a lot of other genres have. Because it's not like, look, Funkton already exists.
No, it doesn't.
I would say
you're the
it
one that
does.
started it.
I would say it does, but I feel like it's not been labeled yet. That's
Which means it doesn't exist.
Basically.
Okay.
But there's people out there who have mixed Brazilian funk with like reggaeton.
You've been to Brazil?
No, I haven't.
I
wanna
haven't
go.
either. I want to go, man.
I want to go.
When you become big and famous and you compare all our flights, can you?
Well, yeah, why not?
Why?
I'll take you in my private jet. Yeah.
I wouldn't say no.
Yeah.
Man, I'll be a Funkton.
If you got a dog, you can bring your dog too.
No, of course. Anything else or anybody else I can bring? Okay. That's terrible that you mentioned the dog before blessing. That is wrong.
If you know
Very
me,
wrong.
No. If you know me, my favorite things, or a few of my favorite things in this world are literally children and dogs.
Okay.
Like I'm actually obsessed. I'm that crazy girl that will see you walking in the road with your dog, and I'm like,
Okay, so
That's me.
I mean, getting a dog is easy. In terms of children, when's that coming?
oh, for me, not anytime soon.
No, not anytime soon. But you do want kids at some point. You like to have a family. The fact that you're thinking about it is scary.
Do you know what? I think it's going to take the right... I'm not going to have children with the wrong partner.
We would hope not.
Yeah, we'd hope not, but you
Yeah.
see, it happens all the time, doesn't
No,
it?
but at the time you're having the kid, though, the partner won't be wrong. By the time you're having the kid, you
You
won't think
say
they're
that,
wrong.
but then it's like, okay, what about
I mean,
the
if
people
you
who
know the partner is wrong and you have a kid and there's something wrong with you, but at the time that you having the kid, I mean, speaking about partners, you say I mean, it's not something you're going to worry about anytime soon because you say you're not in the market. You're
Yes.
concentrating and doing stuff. You know, you're
Yes.
busy. You're busy. Stay away. All the guys that want you, as you said, stay away from.
You can just stay wanting me.
Okay, all right.
That's what want me is for, you know?
All right, they could just stay. What do you? Is there anybody you want?
Is there anybody I want? No.
You sure?
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
You swear on your dog's life.
I don't have a dog, but if I did, I would swear on my dog's life.
Okay. It's nobody you
Although
want.
it's quite unfair because, like, my dog has no business here.
On
my
your
unexistent
imaginary
dog.
dog is. I
Yeah.
mean, we're just trying to understand if you actually do want or not want somebody.
Not really, no.
What would be your ideal definition of success? Where would you be able to look yourself in the mirror and go, you know what, I've done something good here.
I think doing music full time, that's definitely like the thing for me. But, it doesn't have to look a specific certain way, but as long as I'm able to do that for the majority of my time, then I think in one sense in life I have won because I'm doing what I love doing. But then the reason why I want to be able to do music full time is because, usually when you do music full time is because you have reached a certain stage in that career that allows you to have abundance, maybe financially or whatever. And with that, then I can do more for the world than maybe I'm able to do now. Like I feel like as an artist, and not even just as an artist, but as someone who, there's so many people with money out there in the world, and they're not putting it in the right places and doing the right stuff with it. I want to do the right stuff with it and put it in the right places.
What would be the right stuff and the right places for you?
Like, for example, there's so much money in the world, but my brain still can't understand why, like, half of Africa is still, like, undeveloped,
That's
like, why there
that's
is
a whole
children.
nother
It is another conversation, do you know what I mean? But these things don't sit right with me. Like, I don't understand. This is what, like, for example, from that, I've been able to understand that it's not that there's not enough money in the world. It's just greed.
Okay.
So then, I'm not greedy. I want to give. I don't want to take. I came into this world to give.
And remind me to give you my bank account details after this. So when you're giving, I will help you fight the poverty in Africa. I will help.
Hey, listen, don't worry. I promise when I make it, I'm going to sponsor Korak Podcast, man.
But by that time we'll be sponsored. But yeah, I mean,
okay.
No, but every sponsorship helps. Everyone's help. One of the things that I want to touch on is you mentioned, part of the things that were difficult in your life at the time, your parents splitting up. How's your relationship? You've mentioned your mom a few times. How's your relationship with your dad?
So I don't actually speak to my dad.
At all?
No. I think the last time I spoke to my dad was almost 10 years ago, maybe. No, I'm lying. Not 10 years ago. About 6, 7 years ago.
Why?
To be fair, growing up, my dad has a way of being where my love language is different from my dad's love language.
What's your love language?
My love language is like...
So, I mean, for those of people that might not know, it's act of service,
physical touch,
words of confirmation,
words of affirmation,
just quality time.
Yeah, I guess
gifts.
A gift.
Yeah. So what's yours?
So
what's your top
mine
one?
would be like, I love like words of affirmation. I'm very like, I love to speak things. I love like physical touch. I like to be very supportive. I try to be very supportive. I would say
So you would categorize words of affirmation and physical touch as your top two?
Yeah.
Okay. But how does that have to do what?
Acts of service. Actually, I think that's actually.
Have you done the test?
Yeah. The words are good.
Yeah, what are yours?
Mine are physical touch and words of affirmation. Those are my top
Those are
two.
your top two.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, words are good, but if the acts are not lining up, then it's like,
Yeah.
you need a bit of both.
I hear that.
Oh, okay.
What are yours?
Acts of service and quality time.
What
Top
test
two.
are you guys talking about, by the way?
There is a
No,
love
you can do a
language.
test.
Oh, I have never done that test.
You should.
Oh, so you just
So you just assume.
self-diagnosed.
Those
Yeah.
are,
Mm.
Well, I mean,
you can because you can tell.
you could be confident.
But yeah, there's a test that you can do where it will ask you like 5 questions, like how would
You-
you feel if your
multiple
partner
choice.
or someone
And
did
you do
this?
know the love language is how you, not how you love. It's how
No, it's both. So it's how you
How
love
you like
and
to be
you
loved.
receive.
how you like to, how you
Yeah.
receive it as
Yeah,
well.
yeah,
Okay.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
and you say yours is what's it called? So how does that affect the relationship with your dad?
So my dad is not someone who displays a lot of affection or emotion in general.
He's old school.
Yeah.
It's
Um,
and solution driven. Let's go.
Yeah, and I think, I mean, I'm not too sure. I think obviously his upbringing, his life experiences have led him to be like that, which I understand. But for me, is not a reasoning for you to kind of like continue to be this way your whole life. Because then that would have meant that I have a reason then to be a certain type of way my whole life, just because my dad wasn't able to show emotion, then I can be the same. No, I don't.
You ever
Have
tried
to
to
be
have
the
a
same.
conversation with him about it?
I have. It kind of didn't really go anywhere. I think as well, like my parents' divorce was not like, it was almost like one-sided. So then it wasn't a smooth thing, you know? And then I think like my relationship with my dad growing up anyway, we were like, our personalities always clashed.
So you're the same.
We're not, no. So him and my sister are very similar, and then me and my brother are like my mum.
So do you clash with your sister?
I do. I clash with my sister all the time. Like, I love my sister, but yeah.
Okay.
She's the same. She's very like cool, calm, collected, like nothing bothers her. Like if I imagine, I haven't seen my sister, she lives in Portugal. I have not seen her for maybe 6 months. I go to give my sister a hug. Can't give this girl a long hug. She'll be like, all right, it's enough. You know? And it's like, come on, man, bring it in. Like, life's too short. Like,
but that's how she is.
that is how she is, which is fair enough.
But how long a hug do you want?
A nice hug. You know, you want to feel the love. You don't want it to just be a
But so
shoulder swing.
give or take, how long do you want to hold her
I mean, I've never counted a hug, but I would say maybe about 10 seconds.
for? Oh, she comes out just even before 10. So what, that's literally
that's quite
literally
a
like
long hug,
That's not long at all.
No, I mean 10 seconds is quite long when you think about it when you're hugging someone. I think.
Yeah. that
Don't
is quite-
underestimate time.
No, that's quite a long hug. 10
Yeah.
seconds. 9, 8, 7, 6,
See what I mean?
5, 4,
When you put it to perspective
3.
like that.
2, 1. That's a long hug.
No, I swear it goes faster when.
No, I was going with the seconds on the.
Well,
So do you? Obviously, your mom is very proud of what you're doing and what you're trying to achieve.
yeah.
You think your dad is?
Do you know what's so funny? When I released my first song, he tried to reach out to me.
Okay.
And
you turned him down.
I didn't ever reply.
So he has tried.
He has tried to reach out, yes, but
And you're still looking at him and judging him based on how you've seen him before.
no, I'm judging him based on how he is now. He reached out, but
How do you know how he is now if you've not spoken to him for 7 years?
because he could have reached out in a way where, you know, look, I know there's some stuff that needs to be addressed. Let's address it. It wasn't like that. It's like always just brushing stuff under the carpet. And for me, it's like I'm done. Like I'm done brushing stuff under the carpet. I'm done ignoring the obvious, and I don't have to like. In life, if you're not happy about something or in a situation and it's not good for you, then it's okay to remove yourself, and you don't have to feel bad about it. You know.
Are you a forgiving person?
I would say I am, yeah. Like I would say there was a long time I was angry at my dad for a long time. I don't think I'm angry at him anymore. I think I just know we're better off not being in communication.
All right. Well,
Yeah.
BK Creative. This is where BK comes in and asks you a wonderful, wise question. Okay, I don't know about wise, but
It's
a question.
always wise.
Yeah.
It's always wise, profound, and yeah. I think for me, I really enjoyed listening to your story, even though it's very surface level in terms of you can only get to know so much about someone in an hour. My question to you kind of is, what's the goal with all of this? Like, obviously you've spoken about your inspirations, you've spoken about love, everything like that. But what is the goal with all of this? Like you said that you want to be a full-time artist, because then you can like live off of this. But is there like a goal where like mentally or emotionally you feel like if I was to die today, I've done what I needed to do? Because being able to say I'm a full-time artist is great, but it's a job. But that might not be your goal in life. So what is the goal with music?
I think I'm someone I like to trust, like the universe, and some may call it God, some may call it, whatever. But I like to trust that I'm being taken where I need to go, even if I don't always know where I'm going or how I'm going to get where I'm going to get. But I just know for me, I think, to be honest, I think even if I was to die tomorrow, I would be happy because I know I'm actively every day doing what I can to do what I want to do. And something as specifically this year, like I've been always reminding myself like how grateful I am because I'm more and more every year I'm seeing like the progress of like, how much more music related stuff I'm doing or even just the time I'm spending doing music related stuff. Like compared to last year, this year I'm doing music almost full time, if anything. I mean, I'm studying as well now, but again, last year I wasn't. So I'm more involved. I think for me, as long as I can just like, for me, it's not about like being famous or having all this money, but it's just about doing what you enjoy. Like, you only live this version of this life once. So just make the most out of it. Like do what you want to do, be you, spread love. That's my main thing. I just want to spread love and I just want to hopefully make the world a better place. And I know that might sound a bit cringy, but...
What does it say?
It says, remember who you are and what you stand for, but...
There you go. What are you studying?
Music, commercial music.
Nice.
Commercial music degree. Yeah.
All good, BK? You got him what you want? All good. Well, Ana Santos has been wonderful. It's always good to get to know the lady behind the music and everything that's happening in your life. And, your love languages as well. Both of you liking physical touch. My good God.
It's amazing. I mean, why would you want to have someone in your life and not be able to have that? It's that safety. It's that safe space,
Okay, people.
You see how he deflects? It means he's had a hard upbringing.
Yeah, I feel like...
Yeah.
Do you like love?
I love love.
You sure?
Love.
I feel like you're a bit maybe...
I'm a bit like your sister, but I love love.
I feel like someone tried to love you, you'd be like, what are you doing?
Yeah,
like,
no,
are you sure you're like, I don't trust you. Is this real?
In the words of Ana Santos, man, I would want me.
If I wasn't me, I would want me.
I would want me. I'm just saying.
That's the name of the episode. If I wasn't me, I would want me.
Interesting. I mean, like I said, you gotta believe in your own soul.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. If you don't, as my sister says, if you don't feel yourself, nobody will feel you.
Exactly.
Ana Santos, thank you for being an amazing guest, and
Thanks
hopefully with more footsteps and as your journey continues, we will be with you. But for now, it's goodbye from Ana Santos. Goodbye from BK Creative.
I'll see you guys in the next one.
I'm MC Sabi Boy. More things.